Buddy, and welcome back to M&J Games, and welcome to the next episode of the Let's Play series. And a couple things that you probably notice on the screen. First of all, it says 100%, and you also might notice a couple more coasters in the park. And the reason is I've had a couple of these built for the past couple episode releases. I just deleted them before I filmed so that we didn't get a glimpse of them. But I wanted to, of course, it's called Planet Coasters, so I try to get a lot of coasters in the park. And if you think about realistic theme parks, a lot of theme parks have at least 8 to 10 coasters, some of them being kids' coasters or smaller coasters. But the thing is, they got about like 30 or 40 flat rides. So based off the Oswald limit and just the map size, we don't have the opportunity to do that. But I do like trying to get as many coasters in as possible. Now, one thing that I do know that I need to really work and improve on in the next park is building my buildings. And like you can see here at the entranceway, I got a lot of buildings here. But then after that, there's really not many buildings throughout the rest of the park. And so that's something that I've really got to work on because, like, for instance, I need to have some more food areas in here, stuff over here. I've got this one here, so it's just something for me to think about, But yeah, so I'll get the HUD off the screen in a second, but even though there's a lot more work for me to be done, I'm at 100%, we are going to use the Oswald-Eugene counter. Lovely. And as you can see, I don't have this coaster fully built yet, because the reason is... So let me just give you guys an example here with the Oswald counter and an issue that it has. So let's pretend like I wanted to continue building on this coaster. I'm just trying to get to where... Yep, so now you see that I'm at the point where I can't build anymore, right? Well, if I just delete one piece, it doesn't automatically allow me to build. So essentially, it's not like, oh, I went one piece over the limit. I can just delete that piece and I'm back under the limit. It's kind of tricky in that instance. So as you can see, I'm having to delete all these and I'm still not back to where it's allowed me to do anything, right? So what I always do is I always save it when I get to 100%, and every time I place down a couple things, I resave it just so that I don't ever actually hit that limit, because then the issue happens, right? So that's where kind of it gets tricky with this. But at the end of this episode, I will save my blueprint, and then kind of explain the process that I use to be able to build the extra counter. But as you can see, a couple things I want to talk about, as we talked about this last time, but I do really like how this food court looks. And I feel like this park is really coming together. There are still some areas. You can see I've started placing this basic fencing around. I didn't know what type of fencing I was going to do, and then I think I just kind of didn't want to make anything too terribly difficult and too taxing on the counter. Started placing some flowers in here. Don't really know what I'm going to do on this inner portion yet. But then I've got this. And so this is a nice little patio for... you've got staff rooms in here. We got bathrooms on the exterior. I just need to put some signs up and stuff. I'll probably put some staff doors there. Oh, excuse me, man. Sorry, I'm not trying to yawn. It's about 12:30 here, so I'm getting a little tired. But yeah, so I do like how this has turned out, and especially I was looking at this before, and this looks nice right here. This is really coming together. As you can see, you can sit here and eat some food and watch the coaster go down the lift hill and stuff like that. So I really, really like how this area has turned out from a visual standpoint. And even if you're in the queue, you've just got nice sight lines. You do have some trees kind of covering some stuff, but if you're right here, you kind of get to see the coaster come along. So I really, really like how that looks. And then obviously got to work on this Batman area. But yeah, so we now have 3 more coasters in the park. We have a wooden coaster. I don't know if it's GCI or CCI because I'll be honest, I don't really know much about those. What's the difference between the two and what makes each coaster company unique? And then we have a dive coaster. And, oh my gosh, I'm sorry guys. Ooh, I thought I could film this and not be too tired, but apparently it's my bedtime. So then we have a Gerstlauer coaster, and I cannot believe that I fit this coaster in this space. I like how it just kind of winds back and forth, and that's a custom inversion there. Might not be perfect, but for the space, you know, I kind of there's a lot. And I did check here; it does clear this clearly, even if people were to have their hands up. But I do like how you've almost got your 3 layers. Like the first time it comes around, it goes this way. Second time it comes around, it's this way, and then the last time it's coming around that way. So I think that looks nice, kind of having all the turnarounds there together, and then when you're over here, same thing. So if anybody knows of a name for this coaster that you think would fit, I would love to hear it and love to get your idea or hear your ideas. So let's go ahead and ride this coaster. As you can see, stats are all green, so very happy with that aspect of it. Alright guys, so what are your thoughts on that coaster? I do like it. I think it's pretty smooth overall. You know, some areas probably could have been better, but for the area, I think it's I was able to fit it in that spot really well. And as you can see, vertical G is a little bit high. I'm guessing it's probably on this main first drop. Oh my gosh, I don't even feel that tired, but constantly having to yawn. I really apologize. 34 meters, so it's a little bit over 100 feet, not too much. And yeah, so I like that coaster. And as you can see, I'm just doing the 2 rows, 1 car, so that I could fit a little bit more, as this is a smaller station, right? And I didn't want to put block sections and stuff on this coaster just because of how short it is. And obviously, we got Batman from last episode. And we got this dive coaster. And one thing that's interesting to me is seeing, like, when you choose certain coaster types, what the coloring. Oh, I thought I had. Oh yeah, I got to change the coloring of the coaster. So I did have it as green, and that's why I kind of stopped for a second, because when I loaded back up the park, the color of the coaster didn't stay the same. So I had it kind of like this green and gray, because I don't have a green coaster in the park. So I wanted to I didn't want to just reuse colors. But the coaster comes out as blue, so obviously this coaster is modeled after Griffin at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. You know, this free spinning coaster is red, which is modeled after X2. You've got this coaster, the Invincible, is blue, which is modeled after Millennium Force. You've got, I believe these flying coasters are a light blue, which is modeled after Galactica. And like the Danglefoot's white, modeled after Nemesis. So it's kind of interesting to see the color scheme. Like this one's modeled after Smiler, I believe. The color schemes that automatically come with the ride and what that coaster is, what it's modeled after. But as you can see here, some typical dive coaster elements. Now, maybe not this vertical loop, but if it can do a sidewinder like that, it can do a vertical loop. And, you know, these coasters are not very long, so I didn't try to make it an extremely long coaster. And it seems like the elements, too, are really drawn out. Like, nothing's really quick and whippy. It's, everything seems to be very drawn out. So let's go ahead and You know what? I feel like for this one, you can't ride. You got to ride it in seat view. I feel like so. We'll see how smooth it is because I haven't actually checked it out in seat view yet. I've just done it in front bumper, but I feel like with these, you know, since you're actually hanging there, kind of got to experience it this way. Alright, so there is that coaster, and this also has the first time I've done an element like this where it has the decline right there. And as you can see, I've kind of removed some of these supports because if you look up a picture of Valraven, it doesn't have a ton of supports, which is kind of crazy and surprising. But yeah, it really doesn't have a ton of supports, and you know, you've kind of got the drawn out elements. I probably could have shortened this part up now that I think about it. So you know what, I might need to change that, but we'll see. So if I might go through and change that one aspect of it, because this seems a little bit overly drawn out here with this flattened part. Let me just take a look at that real quick. So I wonder if, well, I guess that's actually part of the inversion, so it's got to stay that way. But yeah, so really enjoyed this, and it's always so weird to me how these dive coasters literally come to like a standstill on the brake run. To me, it just kills the momentum, but I wanted this to try to be realistic with the elements and stuff. Yeah, so what are your thoughts about this one? And then this last one, this is one of the first wooden coasters I've actually made in the game. And guys, I'll be honest, this is one of my favorite coasters I've made in the game, to be honest. It's a lot of fun. And you know what, should we ride front bumper on this one, or should we ride an actual seat view? So I feel like these wooden coasters are really good to ride kind of further back in the train. So we'll see how smooth it is riding the coaster this way. Because as always, front bumper view always seems to have the smoothest coaster. Or should we ride in look forward mode? Yeah. Alright, let's ride this in front bumper view as well. I feel like that would be better to ride in that camera when there are actually guests on the ride. Alright, so out of the 3 coasters that we have added to the park. Which one was your favorite, or just in general, what's your favorite coaster in the park? I know a lot of people, or not a lot, but some people said the stand-up coaster was the best. Is that still true? And one thing I really liked about this, actually two things that I really liked about this coaster, is doing this double up and then double down. Never done one of those before, but I think it looks really cool. Especially here from the parking lot, you kind of see that. It's just kind of got a cool look to it. And this gives a good sight line too from the parking lot. And it's actually, now that I look at it, it's kind of cool too because it kind of hides everything behind it. Because of it being a wooden coaster, it just has so many supports. So it kind of hides the rest of the park. Like if you're down here, all you see is this. You can't see anything else. Then you see the drop from Heat Wave. And so really enjoy this coaster, and I really like the layout too that I was able to make, especially this component of it. It's almost like you got like a figure eight, and then there's another portion of it, but it's all intertwined. And especially when you go down the first drop, there's a nice kind of head chopper moment right here, right? Where you're kind of going in between, not just another track, but two other tracks. So I think that's a really cool look. Love your opinion, love your advice, and what you guys think. And now what I want to show you, and this is going to be kind of a kid coaster. I'm trying to model it's not the exact same, but kind of around the aerial chaser, I think is what it's called, at Kings Island, because I want to make a cool kind of custom support here in the middle. And that was really cool at Kings Island to kind of see the coaster like that. I'm going to go ahead and save this so that the color that's green in the background will stay green this time. And so my thoughts are, what the plans that I have left is this is going to be a kids area. And I haven't built a kids area in the game, so that's why I really want to do it. So I'm trying to figure out, like, and I want your opinion too. What do you guys think? I almost thought about putting kind of like a fencing around it with certain areas where you could kind of enter and exit the kids area. I was going to put like 4 different flat rides in here, and then some food and shops and stuff like that. So do you guys recommend, do you recommend using this entire space, maybe putting a go-kart or a track ride? I know I don't really have any water rides in this park, but we'll forget like I forgot to put in a water ride, let's say that. Yeah, so just a little bit left to go in terms of the percentage left. We've used about 4/5 of what we can use based on the percentage that I'll get back. And so here's how I go about doing the exploit. So I'm going to save the 5 coasters. So it's this one, this coaster here. Now the issue with some of these coasters that I made in this park is a lot of them don't use up a ton of the percentage. Which is a good thing, and then it's also the only issue is here at the end you don't get as much extra, but at the same point you got to think of it as you're kind of saving extra too, because it's percentage points you're not using within the first 100. How many do I have saved? 4. What was the 5th one? Oh yeah, Heat Wave. All right, and then I've gone ahead and grouped the 4,000 pieces that I wanted to save. And so this right here, you got these, it's literally 3,999, saved all these pieces and saved these lockers that are in here. So I went ahead and grouped that whole piece of scenery together. But just so you guys know, if I delete that, that gives me 24 extra percent. So it's not quite the 26 that I was thinking I'd possibly have, but that's because I built a smaller coaster, and I'm totally cool with that. I clicked on the wrong spot yet. Alright, there we go. And then now, so as I go through, and let's see, 3, oh no. Hey, when you accidentally click on something like that. Alright, so now we just save as a blueprint. Oh man, you know what I needed to do? Sorry. Because I want to make sure And I don't know if it works differently, to be honest, like this. I just know this is what I've done every time. You want to get a good overview picture of the park, so as you can, and you'll see why in a second. What did I click on? Oh, I accidentally clicked on a light that I had on the coaster. So that's what happened. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take this picture from right here. And the reason I do this is because I want to be able to visually see where they need to be placed in the park. So let me name this K. And I don't really care what I name it or the title, K. Say blueprint. So now, just to kind of give you guys an idea and show you, if we were to delete everything, which by the way, this is on the workshop that I made under I think maintenance stairs, I think. And thank you TJ Puffs and Mad Catter if y'all are watching, because I kind of got the idea from you guys, as well as looking at a Planko player on the PC. So let's see, which ones did I need to delete? Yeah, this Gerstlauer. Sorry for the taking a little bit longer right here. So we got that. And so if we were to replace all this, whenever it gets to come that time, okay? And I'll make sure and do a video of it when we get to that point. So I need to look here and say, go down to sources, my creations, and then I think this is K. Yep. And so what's going to happen is it's going to keep the orientation of all the stuff the same. So they're all facing the same direction. So as you can see here, you can just then replace it, and you'll just have to kind of move the rides a little bit. So it's tricky, but I think it's totally worth it in the end. But what I would do right now, when I get to this point, is I'm not gonna delete everything at one time. So what I'm gonna do first, since I know I'm at 100%, is I'm gonna delete these pieces right here, these 4,000 pieces, and that gives me an extra 6% to work with. Once I get back right at 100, I'll save it. I'll delete this coaster since I'm completely done with this area, and then do the same thing with kind of moving along. So that's just how I choose to approach it. And as always, I really appreciate you guys for watching the video and love your comments. I really do respect everybody's opinion and the advice that everybody gives. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on all of this. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.